Okay, so good afternoon, Black women. I can't go live yet because I need you guys to subscribe to 1,000 or more in order for me to do that. So I just have to go live this way, or at least record the videos and give it to you. Today, I wanted to speak briefly with you about a video I saw that was put, putting a lot of Black people into their feelings about a young Black girl's, I would say, abuse and the effects of the abuse of being daily and routinely dehumanized, disparaged, and talked down upon as if she's worth nothing, finally reach her breaking point and come on to speak her piece about how Black males in particular and all the rest of society on YouTube who nowadays have allowed white women, white men, and everybody else to come in now and take shots at Black women and try to tear down our character, destroy our self esteem, and try to shame and blame us into relationships with Black males who are taking our lives away by Black femicide every day, every 4 to 5 hours of the day. And before you jump to that ignorant, um, what is it? The ignorance go to that everyone does. Oh, where are your stats? Go to the FBI's page. You can have a tons of information on there. Keep in mind they'll be a year behind because we're Black women, so they don't really care about reflecting the current state of affairs that concern us because we're not important to anyone. So then, if you go to theguardian.com, which is a Black newspaper, it will give you the recent article that was done by the Wall Street Journal in January of 2023, chronicling the many unreported, unconcerned with by government, society, Black women themselves, thousands of deaths of Black women by the hands of Black males that Black women run into the street and scream justice for. The very Black males who never show up, make memes and make fun of Black women who get killed online or get killed in everyday situations by police as well, in police custody, or living in domestic situations with those very Black males that these Black women are so male identified with, overly male worshiping of. These people and these situations are why this young Black woman on TikTok came out and said what she said about she refuses to submit to a slave when she's a slave herself, and she has the sense to understand that if she needs to submit to anyone, which she doesn't, it should be to her slave master, which in society would be white males. Now let me just let you read something, or let you hear me read something real quick. Now I know many of you don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is. You can't see it because of the green screen, but Dr. Claude Anderson, he wrote this book called Powernomics, right? And on page 35 of chapter 2, he talks about the empowerment mode. And he also talks about the first key to empowerment and creating an empowerment culture among Black people, which we do not have today. What we have today is a group of Black women, mostly, who are educated, hardworking, and who take care of the community solely by themselves, with Black males resting on their behinds, taking advantage of Black women by love bombing them and making them fake promises of "I'll love you forever," just so they could have a place to stay, somewhere to eat, the woman's children to be a predator upon, because we do know that the majority of these Black males in our communities are child predators. They like to have sex with children. They like to beat grown women. I could right now, if this was alive, go to the YouTube page Black Girl Unlost and pull up 50 videos of Black males who were either the stepfather, longtime boyfriend, or new boyfriend that came into a black woman's home and ended the life of her daughter after sexually abusing her. You don't believe me? Go over to Black Girl Unlost's page. After you scroll through the thousands of videos there, okay, literally, you can find more than 50 of them that would fit that description. So we don't have a community of empowerment. We haven't had one since slavery and post-slavery. Black males have been pimping, abusing, and defaming and decharacterizing the value of black women since they landed in this country and felt like they had to cater to, pander, and minstrel show to the white man to make money and to feel like his proximity to whiteness would make him similar to them to make his life better so that he would be in the position himself to treat black women and children the way white males from white supremacy dominated the black male, the black woman, the black child, and every other person of color that comes to this country. So when this young lady is speaking about her frustrations and her interpretation of the reality of life in this country and the abuse that black women take on YouTube, you could try to deny and counter what she says all you want, but it is a matter of fact. Okay? It's a matter of fact. And there's no amount of black males that come on to respond to what she says and refute her testimony is going to change that. Every day, if you tap into a Google search for any state in America, you will find a black woman who has had her life taken by homicide by a black male without ever missing it in a day of the year, of the month, period, in America. So she's not lying when she's talking about you're a slave, because you are a slave. You're enslaved mentally and you're enslaved in every other sense of your being because you have innate socialized hatred for black women and little girls. Period. It is what it is. We know it. And those of us who are beginning to wake up and move away from you will never return. The women that stay on YouTube and they fight for black love and black unity and, oh, you must love him even though he does not love you. And he takes your life from you every day, every 4 to 5 hours of the day. And he takes the lives of your children and he sexually assaults your children. He brings crime into the community, homicide into the community, and everything else that is bad for your community. You must continue to turn a blind eye to that and act like he's the greatest thing since life itself when he definitely is not. Period. They don't marry black women. They don't take care of their black children. They cry about paying child support. They call black women every name in the book. They beat black women. They take the lives of black women. They come on this very YouTube and run a campaign of propaganda against black women to try to keep other men from being interested in black women so that black women will not have an opportunity to live a good life outside of them. Guess what, though? That won't stop us. Even if we never have any man in this world to have children with, have sex with, love us or whatever, we will love each other. Even if some of us have to turn gay or never have sex again, we will exclude you from our lives because you are detrimental, harmful, dangerous to our lives. And what this young lady had to say was exactly the truth. So to show you how you are a slave in this society, along with us, but a voluntary slave, let me explain. So in the professor's book, right? In Dr. Claude Anderson's book of Powernomics, right? On page 35 of chapter 2, at the end of the second chapter, at the beginning of the page, he says, the rest of this chapter offers Black Americans these new glasses in the context of the Paronomics National Plan, a plan so that you could come out of this slavery that this young lady is referring to. And the slavery she's referring to is not you being symbolized as a slave, but the slavery she's referring to is the fact that you don't graduate from high school. You refuse in masses to graduate high school and to get a degree so that you will be able to obtain gainful employment. You do not correct your personal problems with your lack of emotional intelligence, where you have several therapists, Black therapists and others, coming out online explaining that you need to learn how to express yourself, to express all of your emotions so that you can grow and you can have decent relationships with Black women and other people. You feel like there's nothing wrong with you. You want to take no accountability for all of the things that are wrong with you, but you choose to blame everything on Black women and young girls, which is why this young woman feels this way. When those Black cops beat the young man and ended up taking his life, what did a grown, ignorant, out of control, irresponsible Black male do on national television? He went on to try to defame, belittle, and dehumanize Black women by saying that that was Black women's responsibility that happened. They were the reason why, when that was definitely not the case. Even the idiotic rumors you made up about this man being entangled with some woman that caused this was not true. The man's very own father came out and disputed that claim. But yet, anything that goes wrong, you want to try to convince the world that is the problem or the responsibility or the cause of the situation by the Black woman, when the rest of the world is not that damn stupid. They see with their own eyes that when crime is committed in their communities, when something happens to one of their daughters, it's not by a Black woman. It is by one of you Black males who refuse to go to school, get educated, refuse to learn how to grow your emotions, to develop a level of self-efficacy where you could deal with people and speak out your problems, work through your problems, instead of stabbing people, shooting people, choking people, drowning people, strangling people. Yeah, that's what this young woman is talking about. That's what she's talking about. And she's talking about how you guys are the most unemployed, living off of women, sitting in either your mother's basement or living room playing one of these video games all day, or you're living off of your girlfriend or someone who's kind enough to let you stay with them. You're unemployed, you refuse to go to work, and then you want to blame women for everything. And then those of you that are really out of your mind, you go on to feel like women owe you something and should be beholden to you like a master and a slave because you demand submission without even knowing the definition of that word. Or maybe you do, because that means that someone inferior should give in completely to someone superior. And how are you superior to anyone when you don't do anything for yourself and you have nothing to show for your lot in life as a collective of men or males who want to be men? Please stop. So if you were not a slave and you actually were beneficial and contributing to the society, which is what this young lady is talking about. She is talking about the stratification of society in a capitalist country, where if you want anything out of this country, you have to contribute. You have to contribute economically. You have to contribute politically. You have to contribute socially, civically, every way possible. You have to contribute, which you do not. You take, and then you use excuses like incarceration and the legacy of slavery that we also, by the way, have inherited and also experienced along with you worse than you did, because we were women who had children that were taken from us, killed from us, right in front of us. Whether you're the father or you are the sire of those children makes no difference. You did not carry those people in your body. And there are examples of Black women I could call out right now where their deaths were horrific during those times while they were pregnant and giving birth. So the young lady is correct in what she's saying. She might not have used the right words, but she used the words to sting and cut. The same way you use words like thought, baby mama, single parent, and telling women that they're undesirable and unlovable and have attitude problems when you are the problem of the entire Black community and of America. And you have no economic standing, which is what this one young woman was alluding to. So back to it. The 4 Powernomics empowerment tools for Black America are an empowerment culture, a group vision, the paradigm of ethno aggregation. Do you even know what that means? 4, the paradigm of vertical integration. And when they say integration, they do not mean the integration that Black males had in mind during the civil rights, where all they wanted to do was to run up in Becky. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about having a plan where as you grow, you have something to show for your growth, meaning building of a community, hospitals, businesses, schools, banks, things where when people learn and they go to create things, they have the money to expand. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about doing it whether somebody allows you to or not. He's talking about changing your mindset so that you don't believe that because you have a phallus between your legs, that you are superior to the Black woman who you only came into this world by way of. Okay? And then he's speaking to being able to have one vision where you're not trying to assimilate into white America, but you're actually trying to acculturate and bring what you have to offer to the table, to be included and be inclusive in what every other person of color comes to America and does, which is take part in this fake American dream. But you're able to grow businesses, sustain them, and do good for your community. That's what that young woman is talking about. When y'all are tearing her down and saying she's a new kind of crazy. No, she's not. She's not crazy at all. And most importantly, she's not incorrect. You are. Because you're so worried about catering and soothing and calming the feelings of a Black male, you're not thinking about the bigger picture, which is the destruction of all Black people because of this Black male. The things that he does here on this social media platform is damaging for centuries to come, and he's doing it on purpose. He has a feeling of understanding that Black women are very precious and they are worth a lot in this society. White men will tell you right out their mouths, we are some of the most educated women in the country, meaning not because we graduate from schools or colleges or universities, but when we get in education, we retain it, and we bring that retention of knowledge to all of the places that we integrate into that make money for people who are already making money. That means that when we sit at the table with those white males, we sit there with the same functionality and worth as they do, and they see it in us, and they respect that in us, which is why Goldman Sachs said, hey, Black women, we got some money here for you over the next 10 years. You might want to come take advantage of that. And they did not say, hey, black males, we have this for you, because they know that they would be wasting their money. Because when these people sit down and they make comments about the state of the union or the state of the black community, they watch you and they watch what you have done and what you will do. So when this young lady is making this comment, she's making it because it is justified, whether you're in your feelings or not. Sorry. So now I'll show you some clips to further substantiate why she feels the way she feels. So let's begin. And it's a shame that you run down this child for speaking the truth. It really makes no sense whatsoever. It's disgusting. It really is. You could tell she's young and she's frustrated with the society she has inherited, and she feels like she has to fight an uphill battle just because she's a black woman. You know, you disrespect black women every day by referring to us as females, like we're an animal instead of a human being. You disregard everything about us, and we are the very women that bring you into this life. And before you get started on all that nonsense about, oh, you need a father to be here, that's not really true. There is actually a way for women to have children without men, which is what they have been doing since the beginning of time, when the oldest living mummy found in the history of the world was an African woman. And men were not found till hundreds of years later. Now, let me, before I click on this video with this young lady, find the definition of what I'm talking about so that you could look it up, or I could read it to you. Sorry, 1 minute. All right. The word is parthenogenesis. So, parthenogenesis is a Greek word meaning virgin creation, but specifically refers to female asexual reproduction. All right. So, that is pregnancy without men. Just for all of you that would come into the video and go, oh yeah, you may be the mother of us and we come through you to live, but you wouldn't have a child if it wasn't for a man. Not true. Parthenogenesis was here before males even existed. And I always have to point that out, even though I don't always remember what it is called, because I am so tired of y'all. And I am so tired of black women feeling like they need to keep catering and caping to these dudes who are no good for black women and who are destroying the lives of young black girls. And they don't care that they are doing it. Right, let me try it again. Maybe it is because it's pre-recorded, it's giving me issues, but it should not. It should work right from the browser the way it's supposed to. Really? All right. So because I can't go live, I just realized I'm gonna have to do this stuff from now on this way, or just do it from my phone. But okay, we can do it.
Every day I get online, men I always complain about black women, at least black men. Black women this, black women that. Our name just always in y'all mouth. Black women are submissive towards black men, how white women are submissive to white men. Well, because the white man is the slave master. The rest of the people are the slaves. Why would I submit to a slave? I don't submit to no slave. I submit to my slave master, which is the white man, but I would never submit to no slave, which is the black man. You supposed to submit just like me. Why would I be submissive towards you when you got somebody you need to be submissive towards too?
Okay, so what she's talking about, and I'll play it again just for y'all to hear it clearly this time.
Every day I get online, men I always complain about black women, at least black men. Black women this, black women that. Our name just always in y'all mouth. Black women are submissive towards black men, how white women are submissive to white men. Well, because the white man is the slave master. The rest of the people are the slaves. Why would I submit to a slave? I don't submit to no slave. I submit to my slave master, which is the white man, but I would never submit to no slave, which is the black man. You supposed to submit just like me. Why would I be submissive towards you when you got somebody you need to be submissive towards too? Every day I get online.
Okay, so check it out, right? What she's talking about is not the actual symbolism or actuality of being a slave, because we're not enslaved. Well, not physically anymore. Mentally, yes. Financially, yes. And through the stratification of society, how we're classified, how we're treated, how we are restricted from doing things, how we are not really concerned when it comes to elections, and how the government um, wants to serve the people. Yes, we are still enslaved in that way. So that is what she means. Even though she didn't take the time to say all of that, she used the symbolism of slavery to explain exactly what is going on. So now, as you know, she upset a lot of people. And I just want to play a couple of the men who had something to say to show you how there's no accountability in what they're saying in reference to them owning up to what they need to do to change her opinion and change the reality of the fact that black males don't own anything in this country. They don't own anything in this country. They don't run anything in this country. All they do is run behind trying to keep up with white men and white women and whatever it is white they can get as things that fall from the white person's table. Whatever thing they can get, any leftovers, that's what they're there for. They're not there for any, like, I'm going to be a sojourner and I'm going to blaze the trail. I'm going to go start this new thing so that other black people can come behind me. Or better yet, something as easy and normal and what you expect. The normal, simple, regular expectations of being a responsible adult male that knows how to be a man, a responsible father, a responsible boyfriend, husband. Well, not husband, because they don't like to marry black women. And if they do marry black women, they marry a black woman that is very, very light, damn near close to white, and someone that is as ambiguous as it gets because it is about self hatred. And if it is a dark black woman, she reminds them of everything they hate about themselves. So we can't say any of that. But this is what this young lady is speaking to. So now let's hear the rebuttals of these dudes where it's always got to be the white man's fault, the black woman's fault, or something else, or even aliens from out of the sky. It's always anything and anyone but them.
Every day I get online, men I always complain about black women, at least black men. Black women this, black women that. Our name just always in y'all mouth. Black women are submissive towards black men, how white women are submissive to white men. Well, because the white man is the slave master. The rest of the people are the slaves. Why would I submit to a slave? I don't submit to no slave. I submit to my slave master, which is the white man, but I would never submit to no slave, which is the black man. You supposed to submit just like me. Why would I be submissive towards you when you got somebody you need to be submissive towards too? Every day I get online, me and I always complain about black women, at least black men. Black women this, black women that. Our name just always in y'all mouth. Every day I get online, me and I always complain.
Where are the speakers? Okay. I don't have speakers on this one. Let me see if it's actually going to work. Nope. Well, that's interesting to know because I had no idea that it would do that. You won't let her play either? Yeah, it does. But where's the sound? Okay. Now, real quick, right? Is that actually true, guys? Don't we often hear the so-called manosphere and all of these black males who have platforms on YouTube talking about submission, talking about grooming young black girls between 15 and 23, even though the girls underneath 18 is a statutory sexual assault situation, but they're always including that age range because they like to sexually assault children. On top of that, right? They say if you're not trying to do everything they want you to do as far as submission goes with cooking, cleaning, and acting like a personal slave and someone to sexually please them every day, then you're not a woman. Because if you're not suffering and enduring pain every day and never getting any pleasure out of life, but you are here and you convince yourself that you are only here for the pleasure of a black male, you're not a decent woman. And that's what they believe when they talk about submission in a nutshell. So he's not being genuine, he's being quite disingenuous, and this is what they do. And I'm quite sure before he continues to speak, he will somewhere along the lines blame it on the white man and everyone else. So let's give him an opportunity to prove me wrong, but I doubt it. Excuse me. No, she's not. She's not the one promoting helplessness and hopelessness. In the psychology world, those two terms together, helplessness and hopelessness, is called hyper ghetto. That is what he is. He is exhibiting that type of situation because at no time did he try to understand what the woman was saying, trying to interpret what she was saying. Right away, he went to the defense of black males because she's attacking black males. That's what it's all about. And I just got to say this, even though it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The reason that this is also a problem, this gender war thing, is because these dudes are so ugly to look at. I'm not trying to be funny. Like this man speaking right now is so damn hard to look at. It's not funny. His teeth, you could talk about my teeth. They're crooked. Yes, they are because I had a car accident and I'm not going to fix them. If you got the money, you send it to me, I'll consider it. But They work fine, but his things are yellow from not brushing his teeth right, probably smoking or having gingivitis or something like that. Then on top of that, he's just ugly to look at. He's blotchy skinned, means poor diet, probably a horrible hygiene habit. He's nasty to look at. And the majority of them that I've encountered, either at work, outside, in school, wherever I frequent to go to expos to learn things about computers, AI, etc., they normally smell bad, their breath stinks, and instead of them concentrating on what we're there for, they're always focusing on capricious nature, always worrying about sex and trying to be a predator towards black women and little girls. That is their issue. But you don't hear him talking about that. And that is what this black lady is talking about. There was no point in the video at all that this young woman made where she said anything about appreciation for a white man over a black male. What she said specifically was, why should she submit to a slave when she should submit to a slave master? Talking about the conditions of economics in this country and her ability to get out of poverty and to stay out of poverty or prevent to become further impoverished by dealing with a group or individual, black male, who has more of a perplexity to put her in that situation than a white male. She never gave a comparison of who was better or whatever. She stated the facts of how the stratification of this society is made up. Period. They conquered, they maintain control. If you want control as a black male, you have to conquer and then maintain control. But before you can do that, you have to work on your person. You have to work on your people skills. You have to work on your emotional intellect and intelligence, because you cannot lead anything where you feel like you need to lord over and oversee black women and girls so that your ego makes you feel like you're somebody. As long as you have that frame of mind, you will never be in control of anything, period. Because no one is going to allow you to rule over them. And yes, I know you may think that black women and girls do not possess the ability to keep you from forcing them to do something. But I'm here to tell you, you are 100% wrong. And as more of us begin to literally despise you with every ounce of our soul because of black femicide and the way you come on YouTube every day and disrespect us, demean us, devalue us, and dehumanize us, a lot of black women and girls will learn to completely deal with you whenever they have to. That's not a threat, that is an actual promise. It is a psychological fact that if you continue to beat down on people, they're going to either do one of two things. They're either going to succumb to your bullying and be no more, right? Because when people are beat down enough, they give up and they get out. Or they do what the majority of us are going to do. They will retaliate and they will not stop until they win. So you black males can keep playing this game all you want. You're not going to win. Because ultimately, you come into this world by way of the vaginal canal of a black woman only. No matter what you may think about science incorrectly. So you might want to be careful about how many black women's lives and little black girls' lives you destroy. Because ultimately, you're going to be on the losing end. And the more you come on here disrespecting us and making us the butt of the jokes for everyone so you can make money off of it, we will catch on to that too. I mean, the ones like me, we already there. We don't patronize your channels. We don't care about your existence. We don't deal with you in life, period. And we don't have in relationships with you. We don't have engagements with you. We don't have children with you. We don't have nothing to do with you because we know you are detrimental to us to the core. Let homie continue. Slavery was bad. Yes, it was. Okay. But there were many incidences where the black males were doing the same thing to black women that those white men were doing. When he talks about the sexual assault, right? I don't know how many of you have ever read any slave narratives or slave accounts of black women slaves. In every one of them, without exception, when they spoke about the violation of their bodies, it was first by the black males who lived in the same quarters with them as far back as they can remember. And then it was consistently, listen to the words I'm using, consistently by the white enslavers. Do you understand that? So that means that even though he's sitting here and he's trying to play with your head, because notice he said black people, he didn't say black women and black men or black males. He said black people because he knows that the way the majority of black overly male identified black women think is that when they hear the term black people, they think strictly black male. They don't think about black women and children because they have been conditioned, indoctrinated for years, their whole life, by religion, by culture, by their family, by their mothers, their grandmothers, to believe that these black males are more important than those black women's lives themselves. And even to this day, black women are still that ignorant to believe it because the majority of the black women that were doing a response to this young black woman's TikTok clip were black women calling her all types of crazy, all types of this, all types of that, when none of them sat back and said, well, let me think. In my life, who has it been, white male or black male, that has been the most violent, the most sexually assaulting to me, aggressive, soul shattering, and dehumanizing to me? Oh, it was the black male that's sitting here trying to say that what this black woman says has no merit and no credit to it at all. What a coincidence. A coinky dink, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, 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 everything about the black male. Where's the black women and children? We don't exist because everything is about these dudes. When there are statistics to prove and show you that black women are deleted or have their lives taken from them at a higher rate than these black males who use these keywords and talking points to make it appear as if everything and anything only happens to them, when if you look at any of the research done by black think tank institutes like is it McKinsey, I believe it is, black women, their lives are taken more so than black males in the custody of police and police departments. We also are deleted and assaulted when we're taken into custody. If you don't believe me, just try doing a quick search of black women being punched in the face or hit by cops during arrest. There was some that was so bad that videos came out on CNN, lawsuits were brought about, and they went viral. All types of stuff, right? But they always speak to make it seem like it's always only about them, like we don't exist, because that is how they want the world to think and to move and behave, so that we continue to be treated like less than an animal in this society, where people look at us and feel like they can do anything to us because these same black males that y'all come on here and you come running to the defense of and to beat down this young black woman who's speaking her truth. If you probably could sit down with this black woman, she would be able to tell you horrifying stories like myself and many other black women about all the atrocities, including intimate sexual assault by these very males that come on here trying to act like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and these black women just talking about us when they don't have no reason to, and we don't do anything to anybody. But if you watch the news at night, you'll see that's not altogether true. And if you go onto the YouTube page Black Girl Unlost and just look at all the young girls who were sexually assaulted and then deleted out of this world, what he's saying might not sound that actually factual anymore. And just to piggyback off of a couple of things he said about how horrific it was supposed to be solely for those black males right after slavery and up to today, because see, we don't exist. Black women and children, we don't exist. We're not black. We don't suffer the same situations in life that they do because they're so specially victimized, right? There's a woman, a black woman, her name was Ida B. Wells. And she went on this huge anti-lynching campaign about black women, black children, and black males who were consistently lynched in the South almost every day. They were lynched so much that there's actually a lynching museum in America. But you know, he didn't know about that museum, so that's why he keeps trying to make it all about them when it was actually all of us. And there was some legendary, iconic stories about particular lynchings about black women while they were pregnant and being hung upside down after they were lynched to death, had their stomachs split entirely open and their baby allowed to fall to the ground and then stomped on. So he wouldn't know nothing about that because he's only always trying to paint the picture that black male is the victim, the black woman is everybody's favorite, and the black child is loved by everybody. You know, despite the fact that they call black women and children bats, he wouldn't know anything about that. Hmm. Again, she didn't talk about respect. She talked about the functionality and what you have to do to live and make it in America. If you don't want to be impoverished and you're trying to get out of poverty, are you going to work for the white man that can give you a job? Or are you supposed to live in destitute, disgusting, deplorable, repugnant living under a black male who can offer you nothing? That's what she's talking about. That is what the young woman is talking about. And for those of you black women that want to live in the street or live in a cardboard box just to say that you got a black man, baby, go live your dreams. But for the black women that want to be like this young girl and who get it, it's not about catering to their feelings. Forget their feelings. It is about you making your way through this life in America so that you could live a good one. Period. And it doesn't matter how they feel about it. But let's go on and let him to continue to be delusional and act like black women and black children do not go through the same situations that black males do in society in America, and the treat and receive the same treatment from white women and men the way he does, because you know he's the only victim. We just go through the world and people just go, oh, black man, let me go mess with him, let me go get him. That's not how it works. We're all victimized. But see, this is what they do. You got to care about me, not her and them kids. Care about me. Another thing, they always use psychological terms that they don't know the definitions of or when or how they apply. Now, for you to suffer from Stockholm syndrome, right? You have to live with your captor, and you have to, along a long period of time, identify with that captor as if it's not really that situation. You go into a delusional state where you start to create your own reality. That is not what Black women are doing in this country, in our everyday lives. If anything, people are being delusional by being in relationships with them. And that's not Stockholm syndrome. That's actually another personality disorder, but he wouldn't know anything about that. But we're not here to talk about psychology in that way today. But it's just, you see how they throw stuff around to make it seem like it's the Black woman. It's never me. It's never the Black male. We're never guilty of anything. We're the victim. Self-hatred that some of them have. And there's no one in this world more self-hating than a Black male. I don't care where he comes from in this world. Black women love themselves. They love the skin they're in, and they love being Black women. If I could be born again and God literally said, Stephanie, I'm going to send you this down this time as something else, I would refuse to go. Okay? I love this. Love it. And it doesn't matter if you got Kevin Samuels or this guy or any other dude on here, Black guy on here that doesn't like the skin he's in, to tell me my lips are too big, my skin's too black, my hair's too nasty, my attitude is whack. I don't give a goddamn about that. I don't. Because I would never want to look like a pasty person in my life. I would never want any of that they got. This here is worth more than gold. They don't feel that way about themselves, but the Black women I encounter and see every day, oh, they know it, they feel it, they live it, they breathe it, they show it. And every fake brother is not a fake brother, because when you cannot take accountability for your own wrongdoings and then check the other Black men that are doing the wrong thing in your community to the Black women and to the Black children, you a fake brother, and you is as fake as it gets. Mm. When Black women are their enemies. So now, in addition to the whole world being their enemy, now Black women are their enemies too. Yet they're the ones committing Black femicide. They're the ones taking the lives of children too. So, but we the problem. Go figure. Go figure. So let's hear a few more things about how they're the victim, and Black women are so horrible, and they're just so perfect. But this is what they display to the world about how they feel about us. Okay. You ain't gotta like us. We don't care about you either. Moving on, more trash talk, more hate speech towards Black women by these Black males and their homies, sometimes white men and others. Their ignorance is too real. And this is all of the stuff that constantly comes at Black women, especially young girls and our little girls who have access to YouTube, that hear all this type of trash talk and hate speech about Black women and girls every day. And then these same Black males sit up here and wonder why so many Black women are divesting completely away from them, don't want anything to do with them. Myself, I wouldn't care if he was expiring on the ground in front of me and he said, ma'am, just please spit on me so I can survive. He would not get that. Okay. It's disgusting. And then the violence they commit towards us is horrible. Just take a listen to this. This is what they do. Violence, violence, violence. It's ridiculous. And then you have your favorite man of the hour who talks about Black women and his dysfunction, but somehow his dysfunction is pushed to the side and dismissed while people laugh at the name calling and the dehumanization that he projects towards Black women. Okay. He speaks to the common mentality and opinion of all these Black males on YouTube who have been on YouTube for over a decade talking about their hatred for Black women. Black women, I don't know when y'all gonna wake up and realize these guys are not on your side and you should not be dealing with them, not having children for them. You shouldn't even say hello, good morning, good evening, good night, passing them by in the street. Let them go their way and you need to definitely go your way. Just it's ridiculous. It is seriously straight up and down ridiculous. It makes no sense. She's not going to serve anybody. She's talking about the functionality in society. Again, they always misdirect the conversation, confuse the contents of the argument, do not see the symbolism for what it is. It's speaking to your inadequacy, your failure to be responsible in life as men. You have not become men yet. You do not take care of your children. You do not take care of your communities. You do not respect Black women. Therefore, you don't deserve any respect from us or acknowledgement. And for those of you Black women that do not agree with me, you have that option. But I will cover your story when you become one of the many Black women that fall by the side due to Black femicide at the hands of these very men y'all worship, can't get enough of, and can't see the truth of. Have a good night. It's just really ridiculous how y'all just will not let these dudes go when they are undeniably an issue. undeniably. For a little girl to have to come out and make a TikTok to express her haunting feelings like that should be enough said. But black women are so used to psychologically attacking black women instead of the men because you've been indoctrinated to do so. You will continue until you wise up. And I can't wait for that day to come. Either you're going to wise up or be a victim of black femicide, because that's one of the two things that happens with them. If you ride or die for them, you're going to definitely be deleted by them. That is a matter of fact. If you don't believe me, go check out all those thousands of black women on the YouTube page Black Girl Unlost. They're there telling their own stories from the grave. Good night. It's a shame. It's a shame that black women would attack a young woman speaking the truth about the atrocities in our society and the nastiness and disrespect directed towards black women in our actual lives in dealing with these animals that we have to encounter every day in our communities. It's disgusting.